All right, back in Blender here, we need to export this out one more time for Unity. Now, when we exported it for Substance Painter, I went ahead and added or included the tire and the wheel, but we're going to need to keep those separate when taking it into Unity. But before we do any of that, we need to make sure that this is real-world scale. And that's because in Unity, the lighting and the physics all expect real-world scale, real-world sizes. So what we need to do is figure out how big or small this should be. And what I've done is gone to Google and I searched for Oshkosh MATV dimensions. And right here we've got the length, width, and height. We have it in inches and millimeters. So if 6,270 millimeters, this is going to be 6.2 meters. So let's create a reference object of these dimensions, and then we'll scale the vehicle to fit those. All right, so let's come over here, and I guess first of all what I'll do is I'll just hide all of this right here, and I'll choose the scene collection, and let's just create a cube. Here we go. And I'll go to the side view, and let's go to wireframe. All right, so let's take this cube and let's get it to the correct dimensions. If I hit the N key to open up the sidebar, we can see over here we've got dimensions. And we can plug in the numbers from Google into here to get the proper size. So let's see, we've got length 6.2 meters. So the length is the y-axis. So let's type in here in dimensions 6.2. Enter. And there we go. There's our 6.2 meters. All right. Let's tumble around and let's work on the width. So the width is 2.49 meters. Let's do that. X 2.49. There we go. And then the height, 2.7. So the height, of course, is going to be this z-axis. So what did I say? 2.7. There we go. Let's make sure 2.7, 2.49, 6.27. Now I could do 6.27. Let's do that. 6.27. There we go. Okay. So now if I bring this up and set it on the grid right there, that's how big our vehicle should be. So let's bring everything back and let's take a look. I'll bring back the wheel, the vehicle, tire low, spare tire low, machine gun, and glass. So all of these need to be this size. And as we can see here, they're too small. So we need to scale this up a bit. I need to select all of these. So what I'm going to do is take this cube and I'm going to call this reference size. And I need to make sure I don't accidentally select it when I'm scaling this up. To do that, I'll come over here to the outliner and pull this down. And I want to enable this selectable toggle right here. And what that'll do, it'll give me this icon. So I can deselect this. So now I can't select the cube at all. All right, so what that does for me is I can select one of these. I can hit the A key without selecting that cube. And now let's, to scale this up, we need to scale from the grid here, from the center of the grid. So let's move this origin of everything. Let's come up here to Object, Set Origin, and move that to the 3D cursor here. Now that that's there, let's go ahead and scale this up to fit our cube here. So I'll just hit the S key, and I'm going to scale it up. And I believe this cube, or these dimensions, are for the main chassis here. I'm just going to scale it up right about to there so that that cube encompasses the main body of the vehicle. We've got these extras, the machine gun, the turret, things like that, kind of sticking out, but I believe the dimensions is really just this part in here. All right, so now we've got our vehicle the proper size. I'm going to go ahead and hide the cube here, hide that. Let's go back to solid mode. And now that we've scaled this up, we've got a problem with our scale over here. It is uniform, but it isn't all one. So we need to really have that applied. Let's do that. Let's press Control A and apply our scale to everything. There we go. So we have that applied now. And I'm going to go ahead and press Control S and save our scene here. All right, now let's work on exporting this out. We do need to deselect everything and hide the tire for now. Let's hide the tire low and the wheel here. And so everything else is going to go into one FBX file that we're going to export for Unity. So I'll select one of the objects, then hit the A key to select everything. And now with all of this selected, let's go to File and Export FBX. We need to be sure and choose this selected objects because we don't want to include the tire or the wheel or anything else. I'll come up here and let's go to our export folder. For this, I think I'm going to call this Vehicle Final. Let's do that. And I'll click Export. All right, so there's that. Now let's deselect everything. And what let's do is bring that wheel and tire back. Bring the wheel and the tire. Here we go. Now let's take a look at the origin of these objects. They're still over here in the center of the grid because we needed to have the origins there when we scaled to get the proper size. But let's select both of these and let's move these back to the origin of the geometry right in here. All right, so now that we've got that, let's export this out as well. Let's go File, Export FBX. We want to have selected objects checked there. And for this, let's call this Tire Final FBX. All right, and let's hit Export. And there we go. So now what we can do is we can go into Unity and bring these objects in as well as our textures and begin configuring the vehicle in Unity.